guys, it's Siobhan with 2Kitty and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another installment in the Starseed Origin series, and this one's a little different because this information isn't deriving from the soul realignment practitioner work. So the original videos that I did, the Syrians, Arcturians, etc., those are all within the practice of the soul realignment modality. That's the information. It's where I began to access the information, and then it evolved through my work with clients and with souls in general. So working with that energy in the Akash and via the clairvoyant Reiki that I provide allowed me to tap into this information and to expand upon it. So this information today on the Lyrans is what we're going to be talking about, Lyran Starseeds. When we're looking at a soul group of origin, this is essentially the dominant signature within the soul blueprint. All souls have multiple different, signatures that they'll resonate with. You might identify as a Syrian, but in fact, you are actually all things. It's just more so what the archetype of that soul is identifying with at that particular time, or where that soul has spent the predominance of their experience in their particular soul cycle. I have a video on soul cycles if you want to look more into that. But let's talk about Lyrans today. So I had a client a little while ago for a Reiki session. She'd recently been in a car accident, and so I provided that Reiki healing for her to heal at the physical level. But what ended up happening was that when we were doing the Reiki, and I'm seeing clairvoyantly into her energy field and into her soul, some information started coming through about her Lyran origin. So what I was seeing was first and foremost the image of this Lyran being. And this is not something that I've seen before or worked with personally, so I was quite surprised to see what I would describe as almost like a humanoid lion type of being. And that's kind of how I saw it. I don't know if that's actually what they're described to look like, but that's what I saw. And it was almost like it was very similar features to a lion, but in a more human type of way. So the nose and the face wasn't quite as elongated as a cat would be. It was more kind of set in like a human's would be, but the features and the facial hair and structure, and even the structure of the head, was very feline. The body was also more humanoid in that it was, bipedal and stood erect rather than being on all fours. The hands and the feet were more humanoid, and yet they still had that paw-like feature to them. They definitely did have hair all over the body from what I could see, energetically speaking. And they also had manes, which were similar to human, hair, but it was this long hair that at least the ones that I saw had in a sort of dread-like type of fashion. So they had them, almost twisted together to create this long, flowing, dread-like hairstyle. And they had ornaments in them as well. So just like people who have dreadlocks in this day and age or in the past would have had, almost like silver clips or beads and things like that go into the hair as a form of ornamentation or decoration. So that was really interesting to me and quite beautiful, actually. And it reminded me of this Rastafarian type of look. And then as we got deeper into the history of this being, it actually was very Rastafarian in nature in terms of the culture and what I saw of that particular society on the planet. Now, this is by no means the entirety of the Lyran information. This is just my one small peek into it. So I'm just looking from this one particular perspective. If you guys have more information on that and you'd like to share it in the comments, please feel free. But what I saw was that on the homeworld on Lyra, there were many of these beings, and they congregated together in almost a tribal-like fashion where they had the technological advancement, but the way that their society functioned was much more community-based. It was much more tribal in nature. And I saw at least the one scene that I was shown was almost a ceremony of sorts where they were using drums and sound in particular to evoke energetic shifts and changes, and also as a tool for celebration. And the reason that they were celebrating was actually something that was happening personally for my client at that time in their soul journey. So the celebration was ensuing as a means of commemorating the time that that person had been there and the honor that was being bestowed upon them for joining the ranks of the Galactic Federation. Now, this is another thing that I've never actually encountered personally. I've read about the Galactic Federation, I've heard other people talking about it, but it's never actually come up in my own work. And so this was another first for me, and it was interesting to see this because I've heard much about it, but I've never actually come across it and been able to kind of have this information at an inner knowing level. It was more just a conceptual understanding of it. And what I saw was that this Lyran being was accepted into the Galactic Federation as a member. And so I was shown the ceremony from when they were about to leave, and then I was shown when they were on the ship. So I was shown the inside of the ship and what that looked like. It was very, very, very large, and I was also shown that there were multiple other ships. So this one wasn't even a mothership, and it was completely mind-blowingly massive to my human mind to try and comprehend. And then there were others, very, very many others as well. All different types of beings, all different types of different souls and embodiments of those souls and expressions of those souls from different planets, different dimensions, different expressions of the Creator. And it was quite interesting to see this almost like hodgepodge of different beings all coming together and connecting together and working together for the energy of love was ultimately the underlying frequency that really, really came through strongly from this group or from this Galactic Federation. It was very much, as they say, the Galactic Federation of Light. It was focused in the light, in the love, in the knowing, in the consciousness of unity. So I saw this Lyran version of my client bedecked in almost what looked like... It to me, it looked very Star Trek, and that's the only reference that I have for it. It was, the suit type of attire and the uniform was there. I saw the Galactic Federation pin that they had on there, or it was maybe sewn into the garment, I'm not sure, but it was there on the chest. And then I also saw that my Lyran client had, in particular, a sash that went across her body, very similar to the Klingon that Worf wore in Star Trek, if you guys are familiar with the show, specifically Next Generation. So it was similar to that. It was different. It wasn't the exact same, obviously, but it was along that same theme. And I asked, what does this mean? What does this represent? What is this sash? And it was essentially the energy of commendation. It was like something that differentiated based on the achievements or based on that level of consciousness. And it was specific to the Lyran population. Not every planetary galactic being would have that, let's say, for example. It was more specific to the Lyran culture, similar again to the Klingons and to Worf. So I think that reality often is mirrored by fiction. And, where do you think the writers are getting it? They're channeling it from somewhere and they're putting their spin on it and making it their own, and it's unique. It becomes a thing of itself. But a lot of the time writers are channels for information that already exists in the cosmos. So what I saw was that this Lyran being was being welcomed into the Galactic Federation and was kind of being shown the ropes, walking through the ship. I saw them in like a hall type of area where they were connecting with other beings and getting to know the people there and forming relationships with all of these different, there were Syrians, there were Arcturians, there were beings that I've actually never seen before. So I don't even know half of the beings that exist. I'm only working with a small group, a portion of these galactic souls can incarnate and express themselves as. But what I really took away from that at the end of the day, when we were looking at the qualities or traits of this Lyran group and the Lyran beings themselves, was that there was this really powerful sense of strength. Courage was something that was very highlighted and honored within the community, within the society, within the race. The energy of pride was also very, very dominant, but it wasn't a pride like an egoic type of pride. It was a pride that comes from love. And it's interesting that the word pride even means like a group of lions. And I think that's probably why, or where we got that, is because the Lyran beings, the Lyran people, they hold a lot of pride at soul level, and they work with that energy in the light aspect of it. So there was this immense feeling of pride and self-assuredness, self-confidence. It was like this intimate connection and trust with the body, which is something interesting that I haven't necessarily seen from other galactic beings, not in the same way anyway. For the Lyrans, it was this beautiful harmony between the soul and the body. There was this trust, confidence, this assuredness. If I jump, I'm going to be able to do exactly what I'm directing my body to do. It was this feeling of being able to achieve things with no doubt that it could be achieved. And it was this beautiful rhythm and this, again, harmonization with the soul and the body. So it was like they were singing the same song, and there was no doubt in anyone's mind that that song would be beautiful and transformative. So that's kind of what I got from the Lyran people, and specifically from my Lyran client as well, was this beautiful energy of harmonization. And I did see that they loved sound. They used sound a lot. They used their voices. They used drums. They used instruments to evoke energy, to move energy, and to harmonize the body. So Lyran beings may have an affinity for sound healing, for healing modalities that involve chanting or voicing or oming or drumming or sound bowls, crystal bowls. That kind of thing could be something that Lyran beings have an affinity for. It could have just been this one subset of the collective. It could have just been because that's what my client was connected to, as she's a singer and a musician. So it could have been that, but that was something that I felt it went a little bit deeper than just the individual. It was something that was a collective theme, whether or not it applies to all of them. So this energy of music and beauty and harmonization and pride and confidence and self-connection was probably the most dominant energy that I got. That courage and strength was also there. The ability to take action was also there. They felt like they were very protective people, so they were always looking to protect what they valued, to stand up for what they believe in. The Lyran people felt very dominant in this way, very assertive in this way, in a very positive sense of that word. So they are not passive types of beings. They're very active, and they were, again, very connected with the physical aspects of the being. But they also had this sort of cultural mentality that was, for lack of a better reference, very close to Rastafarianism, where there was that sort of, even though I just said that they're very sort of dominant and assertive and courageous and brave and strong, they also were very able to be in their natural state of flow, to honor nature, to honor themselves as a part of nature. There was this interconnectedness that was a running theme behind all of their choices and their levels of embodiment and their consciousness. And it felt as though there was this very sort of relaxed nature. If you look at a lion in the sense that we have here on Earth, we can kind of see that, right? When they spring into action, they are very powerful, very strong. They will protect fiercely, their pride. And when they are relaxing, they are relaxing. They are lying around and enjoying the sun and playing. And that was what I got from them as well. The Lyran people, they seemed like they were very willing to stand up and take action and to do things, and they were very brave and courageous. But they also really enjoyed relaxing and connecting and just allowing things to flow and just to be. So it was this, again, beautiful harmonization, beautiful balance between those two sort of different expressions of that polarity. And another aspect that I saw was when my client was up in the Galactic Federation ship, they were showing me these healing chambers, and they kind of looked, the way that I saw them, it was kind of like a tanning booth, when you go to those UV tanning booths, it kind of looked sort of like that, or maybe like an MRI machine or something like that you would lie down and you would go into it and it would send out this frequency or vibration that would help to heal the physical body as well as the soul, and mesh those two together in a more integrous type of way, where there was less gaps, there was less dysfunctions, anything like that, or misalignments. It would help to align everything and get things flowing and working better, is what I saw. So I was shown that my client in her human state was actually being taken in the astral realms to those Galactic Federation ships and into those healing chambers, especially after she went through this accident where she had some physical body challenges after the car accident. So she was being taken in the astral realm to heal at the soul level, and then being put back into the body that would then integrate and filter down into the cells and start to shift at the physical level. So that was fascinating to me as well. That was something I haven't seen before. So I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can, just from what I saw. And I don't know the intricacies of how this works, but I know that it was energy-based and it was consciousness-based, although they did have physical machines that you would go into. So there was a kind of a cross between technology and biological, energetic healing work. So I think that was pretty much everything that came through in that session, other than, some other personal things for that client. So that was the Lyran energy that I got. So the functional expression of those Lyran beings would be pride, courage, strength, harmony, flow, balance, assertiveness, confidence. And if we turn those on their head and we look at the dysfunctional expressions of that from a human perspective, Lyran Starseed souls who are incarnated into human bodies here on this planet at this time, they might struggle with the sort of darker shadow aspects of those things. So pride from a place of love would turn into pride that comes from the ego and as a self-defense mechanism. Harmony could turn into disharmony, where things are misaligned or not working well. Sound healing could be turned in reverse, and it could be sounds that are disharmonious and harm the cells. If you sing to a plant in a pleasant tune, it grows stronger. If you yell at a plant aggressively, these are sounds, vibrations that you are putting out from the body, as well as from the intention and the thought behind it, the energy behind it will start to hamper the growth of the plant or even kill it. So those are the kind of polarities that I like to pay attention to when it comes to these beings, these galactic beings incarnating into human bodies and into human lives. Because when we incarnate into the human experience, everything that was once in that light polarity gets exposed in its dualistic form. And that's part of why we're here, is to explore the duality. It's to explore and experience the separation from the all, the unity consciousness of which we are, and to kind of play in that dysfunction, weirdly enough. And then by doing so, we're able to understand it and to better then integrate more of that which we truly are, to remember and bring back the parts of the self of that which we truly are. The lighter aspects, the functional aspects, the empowered aspects. So that was basically all that came through. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know what you think. I'm by all means not an expert on Lyran beings or Lyran souls, but this was something that I found fascinating, and I love to learn and to share what I learned. So I wanted to bring that to you guys today. If you guys are interested in working with me and discovering more about who you are at soul level and how to work with your empowered soul energy, you can find my services in the link below to my website, tokittyandbeyond.com, or you can email me at services.tokittyandbeyond@gmail.com. You can also send a direct message to me through my website. There's a contact form there. There's also a subscription form. You can check out my services and what I'm all about, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to leave that with you and wish you all the best as you continue on your Starseed incarnational journey. Much love and many blessings. Bye, guys.